Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the history books to uncover a story that is often overlooked in the grand narrative of college football. We're talking about the Tulane Green Wave. Now you might know them as a solid team in the American Athletic Conference, but what if I told you that for a time they were not just good, they were a national powerhouse, a team that once stood shoulder to shoulder with the giants of the sport. This is the untold story of Tulane football, a journey filled with roaring success, heartbreaking what-ifs, and a legacy that deserves to be remembered. Our story begins in the early days of the 20th century. While football was taking root across the country, New Orleans was becoming a hotbed for the sport, and Tulane was at its epicenter. The Green Wave, or the Olive and Blue as they were often called back then, quickly established themselves as a dominant force in the South. They were founding members of the Southern Conference in 1921 and later, in 1932, the Southeastern Conference. That's right, Tulane was an original member of the SEC, alongside teams like Alabama, LSU, and Georgia. The late 1920s and 1930s were the golden age for Tulane football. This was an era defined by leather helmets, brute force, and legendary coaches. Under the guidance of Bernie Bierman, and later, Red Dawson, Tulane was consistently ranked among the nation's elite. They were innovators, running sophisticated offensive schemes that left opponents scrambling. The stadium, now known as the Sugar Bowl, was originally built for Tulane and opened in 1926. It was here that the Green Wave cemented their legacy. Think about the 1931 season. Tulane went undefeated in the regular season. They were a juggernaut, led by the legendary running back Don Zimmerman. They earned a trip to the Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all, to face off against USC. While they ultimately lost a hard-fought game, their presence on that stage announced to the entire country that Tulane was a force to be reckoned with. This wasn't a one-off, either. Throughout the 30s, they consistently finished in the AP Top 20. In 1934, they beat Pop Warner's Temple team in the very first Sugar Bowl. In 1939, they again went undefeated in the regular season, finishing ranked number 5 in the country and earning another Sugar Bowl berth against Texas A&M. The Green Wave weren't just participating. They were contending for national championships. Players from this era were household names. Guys like Jerry Dalrymple, an All-American end, and Monk Simons, a triple-threat star who could run, pass, and kick with the best of them. These weren't just great Tulane players. They were some of the best football players in America, period. The rivalry with LSU was fierce and passionate, a clash of titans that captivated the entire state of Louisiana. For decades, the battle for the rag was one of the premier rivalries in all of college football. When Tulane and LSU met, everything stopped. So, what happened? If Tulane was an SEC powerhouse on par with its peers, why aren't they still battling Alabama and Georgia every fall? This is where the story takes a pivotal, and for many Green Wave fans, a painful turn. The decision that changed everything came in the mid-1960s. For years, there had been a debate within the university's administration. Tulane had always prided itself on its rigorous academic standards, holding a reputation as the Harvard of the South. A growing faction of the faculty and administration felt that the high cost and immense focus required to compete at the highest level of SEC football were undermining the school's academic mission. They believed that the university's resources could be better spent on academics and research rather than on trying to keep up with the escalating arms race of big-time college football. It was a clash of philosophies, academic prestige versus athletic glory. In 1966, after years of internal debate, the university's board of administrators made a monumental decision. Tulane would voluntarily withdraw from the Southeastern Conference. They chose to de-emphasize football and chart a new course as an independent, focusing on a model that prioritized academics above all else. The fallout was immediate and seismic. For the players, coaches, and die-hard fans, it was a gut punch. They had just left the most prestigious conference in the region, effectively taking themselves out of the national championship picture. Recruiting, which was already a challenge against state-funded schools, became nearly impossible. How could you convince a blue-chip prospect to come to Tulane to play an independent schedule when they could go to LSU or Alabama and play for SEC and national titles? The program entered a long period of wandering in the wilderness. They played as an independent for years, cobbling together schedules that lacked the tradition and intensity of their old SEC rivalries. The once packed stands of Tulane Stadium started to show more and more empty seats. The battle for the rag with LSU, once a marquee event, lost its conference significance and eventually faded in regularity. The program that had once played in Rose Bowls and Sugar Bowls was now struggling for relevance. But the Green Wave spirit never completely died. There were flickers of the old magic. The 1970s brought some memorable teams under coach Benny Ellender, including a 1973 squad that finished with a 9-3 record. Then came the era of quarterback Rock Hontus, who lit up scoreboards and gave fans a reason to cheer. But the defining moment of the post-SEC era, the season that proved the magic wasn't gone for good, came in 1998, under coach Tommy Bowden, and with future NFL quarterback Sean King at the helm, Tulane did the unthinkable. They went undefeated, 12-0. They ran a high-octane, no-huddle offense that was ahead of its time, averaging over 45 points a game. King was electric, a perfect fit for the system, and the team played with a swagger that hadn't been seen in New Orleans for decades. They finished the season ranked number 7 in the country. It was a perfect, magical season that captivated the nation and reminded everyone of Tulane's dormant potential. Despite this incredible success, the realities of the college football landscape had changed. As an undefeated team from a non-power conference, Conference USA at the time, they were left out of the major bowl games, the BCS. It was a bittersweet ending. They had proven they could compete with anyone, but the system wasn't set up for them to get a shot at the title they might have contended for in a different era. In the years that followed, the program faced more challenges, including the devastating impact of Hurricane Katrina in 2005, which forced the team to play its entire season on the road, a truly Herculean effort of resilience. But through it all, the program endured, and recently, we've seen a renaissance. The opening of the on-campus Yulman Stadium in 2014 brought football back home, creating a vibrant game day atmosphere that had been missing for decades. And then came the 2020 season. Under coach Willie Fritz, Tulane shocked the college football world. They won the American Athletic Conference Championship, and in a stunning comeback for the ages, they defeated USC, the very same school they faced in their first Rose Bowl appearance in the Cotton Bowl. It was a poetic, full-circle moment, a victory that echoed the glory days of the 1930s and announced to a new generation that the Green Wave is back. The story of Tulane football is a complex tapestry of incredible highs, frustrating lows, and unwavering resilience. It's a tale of what was and a powerful reminder of what could have been. But more importantly, it's a story about a program that refused to be forgotten. A program that, against all odds, has found its way back into the national conversation. It's a history that was never truly lost, just waiting to be told. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this dive into college football history, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments what other untold stories you'd like to see next. We'll see you in the next one.